I'm on the Use It Up challenge this week, and I have a couple tablespoons of broccoli sprout seeds that I've had in a drawer for months, as well as a whole nother bag. I got these off of Amazon for about $8. Those screen lids, I think it was 4 for around $5. And I thought I'd take you guys along with me while I sprout these seeds over the next 4 days, just in case you're curious and have never tried this yourself at home. It's really easy, but there are tips and tricks that I found along the way that'll help you be as successful as possible. So you're going to put your seeds in a jar filled with about half a jar of water. Make sure it's purified or reverse osmosis. And you're going to let them soak for about 4 hours to help those seeds soften up so that they can begin to germinate. And here's a close-up of the mesh or screen lids. And because I live in South Florida and we have teeny tiny bugs called no-see-ums, as well as the occasional fruit fly in the house, I also like to put on top of the screen lid a little mesh bag. After approximately 4 hours, you'll drain all the water off and then roll the jar around so the seeds kind of cling to the side. They do a pretty good job of that. Then get a bowl or some kind of a heavyweight Tupperware container and tip the jar on its side. I like to put a paper towel in the bottom. So here we are on day 2. The seeds are already starting to sprout a little bit. It's amazing how quickly this happens. And you can see my little glass container there. And the laundry room gets light from a side door window that has sort of a frost over it. So it doesn't get direct light, but it does get light. Then every morning and every evening, fill the jar with water, give it a little shake, drain the water, roll the jar to get the seeds to cling as best you can, and then put it back in its little growing spot with a fresh paper towel. Now here we are on day 4, and as you can see, the jar has filled up with broccoli sprouts, and the dark stuff you see are the holes of the seeds that have popped open that the sprouts have formed out of. And I filled the jar with water one more time, and those holes kind of float to the top, and then I just spoon them out of there. I have found over doing this several times that this works better than trying to put them in a great big bowl where the seeds kind of float everywhere. Doing it this way helps concentrate them to the top. And it's okay to have some of those holes in there. It's fine to eat those. I just prefer not to have an overabundance of them, so I kind of did this thing of picking the holes out for a little bit until I got it down to a reasonable level. Then I drained it and put it in the window again and let it sit there the entire day. This is day 4, because at this point they're plants and they need sunlight to green up and they continue to grow a little more. Look at what a difference after a day of sitting in the sunlight made. They really look amazing, don't they? And they filled the jar all the way to the top. Now get your colander out, put it in the sink, put the sprouts in the colander, run cold water over them while you kind of fluff them with your fingers to help get some of those holes out the holes. Then you'll put a towel on your kitchen counter, and I like to top the towel with some paper towels because these sprouts are kind of clingy. Kind of spread them out with your fingers as best you can and let them air dry for an hour. Then put them in an airtight container and pop them in the fridge. And here's a look at my sprouts in the little Tupperware container. That's a solid 2-3 cups worth of sprouts, which is at least 10 days worth for me. I only put a couple of tablespoons on a salad at a time. But just to conclude, a couple of tips here. One, and most importantly, your sprouts should not smell bad. They should have a slight broccoli smell, but not a bad odor. If you can detect a bad odor, that means bacteria has grown in your sprouts, which that happened to me the first time or two I tried to grow them because I didn't know I needed to use purified water. And if your sprouts have a bad odor, throw them out. Don't eat them. Start over. It's well worth the effort, you guys. The health benefits are incredible. And I didn't believe it when I watched my first YouTube video on these. And Shelly was saying how they really gave her a lot more energy. She could feel the difference when she eats these on a daily basis. Well, I'm a believer now. I really do feel better. It's like they kind of wake up your mitochondria or something. Anyway, I wanted to give you that tip. And the other tip is I find that 10 days max on keeping these in the fridge is about as long as you want to go. But they do freeze okay if you're going to use them in something like a smoothie or a stir fry. But I wouldn't want to eat them on a salad out of the freezer, if you know what I mean. And the little bag that I buy on Amazon's will make 8 jars worth of sprouts. So if you were to buy those in a store, that would be well more than $30 worth of sprouts at a Whole Foods or something along those lines. Not to mention they're hard to find. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope y'all stay healthy and happy. See you on the next one.